Okay, everybody. We are going to move on to our final interviews of the afternoon, and I am very, very excited for this. We have 3 stars of this United States women's national team, and I know from experience that each one of them knows how to go to France and bring home a trophy. These are 3 of the greatest soccer players of the modern era, and I truly believe that, not just because they're all dear, dear friends of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand again, if you don't mind, for Crystal Dunn, Lindsey Horan, and Rose Lavelle. Girls!
Okay, whoa. I know.
How are our microphones?
Tall. Well,
On.
as always, too high for me. Thank you. How'd you do that? Just tilt it low.
You can do it, Rose.
Rosie, okay, Rose. Got it.
Okay, Lindsey, welcome. Welcome to the stage. We're going to start with you. So we just heard Emma talk about her slogan for this new U.S. women's team, which started with the idea of a new identity. So I want to ask you, moving forward and as captain, what do you see as this team's identity, and what's your role in helping to create and shape that?
I mean, hello everyone. I think obviously we're listening to Emma up there, and what she said was perfect. Obviously this is the start of a massive process. It's kind of like a new cycle here. New manager, new staff, a lot of new players, 9 new Olympians going into this tournament. I think you're just going to see a lot of freshness, and I think a lot of learning and growing going into this. It's such an exciting time because we're all part of the process. We're all a part of forming this new identity. So I think you'll start seeing that come out in this tournament, in these next few games. And I think what we've been developing this past year has been incredible. The work that all the players and staff has done is going to be amazing.
I think one of the coolest things for me from the outside has been seeing you guys specifically, who are my peers and teammates this whole time that I was playing, stepping into these roles that we always really idolized other players having, these leadership roles. And so Rose, we were talking about this recently, and you told me about how you and Emily Sonnet have had to kind of step up and fill some of the roles that players who aren't on this roster anymore used to do. And that means like booking a nice reservation for dinner for the team before a big tournament, and trying to get some little goodies for the girls to have on their spots in the locker room, like some nice little gifts from some brands. Those are things that older players have always done, and now you're the older players. So I want to hear how it went. When's dinner? Where's dinner? And what goodies did you get?
Okay.
Don't give all of it away.
I was going to give you credit.
Okay,
Give me a second.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
So just keep it a little bit of a secret.
No, yeah. I obviously am not going to disclose the location. Sorry.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like usually we always go on a little team dinner before we go off to these big tournaments. So now as a New York, New Jersey resident, me and Sana were like, okay, I feel like usually like Pino and Alex do the heavy lifting on that stuff. So we're like, let's try to plan a team dinner. And then Lindsey has been helping out with all the goodies too. So it's going to be, what?
I said thank you.
Oh, yeah.
For my credit.
Yeah, Lindsey's been helping out. I feel like we've had a couple people helping out, and it's just going to be a fun little night for the girls to let their hair down and bond, eat some food, and
That sounds so fun. Well, I know that we have some women's game sweatshirts for the whole team. Sadly, they are not here yet, so I will deliver them later this week. I will try to personally hand deliver them to the hotel. Crystal, you are listed on this roster as a forward. I know. Even though you've mostly played outside back historically for the national team, you and I have spoken actually a lot about your tactical flexibility and how you're actually capable of playing outside back, midfield, forward, pretty much anywhere. Can you speak a little bit about the importance of this kind of versatility, especially on a roster like this when there's only 16 outfield spots?
Yeah, I mean, I think listening to Emma just before, like, I think versatility is so important, especially on a smaller roster. I think everyone is capable of stepping into new roles and being adaptable. I take a lot of pride in what I've been able to accomplish in my career because I have always battled with the idea of being versatile and you know, just realizing that there is so many benefits of it. And I think I find myself in a place where I'm ready to step into this new role and be everything that I need to be for the team. And I'm excited to learn and grow from this new staff. And I think they've done a really great job of just trusting players to be themselves. You know, I think that's the biggest thing that I can't stress enough of is like, players want to feel valued, but at the same time, they want to know that their coaching staff really supports them and everything that they get to be as a player for this environment. And I think I'm just overall excited. For the first time, I'm playing the same position I play in club and for the national team. So that's something new, but I'm so excited. I'm like, what? I've been missing this, like jealous of everybody, you know? So
I know.
It's really cool. So.
I feel like we might see Crystal Dunn Golden Boot.
Don't get crazy now. Don't get crazy now. Don't tempt me, you know? But no, like, don't tempt me. No, but I'm just so excited. I get to play, you know, and play and learn from like so many of the forwards. And I think it's funny because it's like, yes, I'm one of the older players on the team, but it's like, you know, learning from Trinity Rodman, like just kind of being able to be there every step of the way with her. And just, I think it's going to be so great.
Well, I'm so excited for you. Lindsey, you moved to France right out of high school. You first played with PSG, and now you're playing with Lyon for the past 2 seasons. You've been there long enough that there are videos of you singing in the locker room in French, so we're going to watch really quickly. Woo! What was the ponytail thing?
I don't know, and I also don't think you saw a lot of me actually singing, and I was just bobbing my head, but
Just mouthing the words.
mouthing, whatever. Yeah.
Tell us how excited you are to be experiencing these Olympics in France. All 3 of us, we already have great memories from winning the World Cup in France, but what do you anticipate that the atmosphere is going to be like at this tournament?
Insane. I think the French fans create an incredible atmosphere. Obviously, football is such a big sport in their country, and you know I love playing there. Obviously, I'm still there, still out there. But yeah, I think it will, like you said, we enjoyed it a lot in 2019. So I hope we get that same feeling again.
Yeah. This is, again, to you, Lindsey. It's not unfair to say that the U.S. had a disappointing World Cup last summer, losing to Sweden on penalties in the knockout stages, though I still think that goalkeeper Alyssa Nair made that save. This is the first major international tournament since then. So can you put into words how important it is to make a statement in these Olympics?
Yeah, again, I think for me, I look back at this past year and everything that this team has done, the work that we've done, you know, one, without our coach, you know, being there firsthand and working with Twyla, but I mean, we won some major tournaments as well in the U.S., the Gold Cup and the She Believes, and everything we did in those tournaments. Like, you saw everything. You know, some of the most wild games, the gritty games that we had to...
The rain game.
Yeah, we played in a swimming pool. And, like, for me to see that and to see how far our team's come just even from this past World Cup, I think is the most important thing. And you guys all know that this women's national team holds a very high standard when we go into tournaments. We want gold. We want to win, but we know it's a process, and we know it starts here. We got 2 send-off games, which are very important to us, and then once we get on ground, like everything we do is for that first game against Zambia.
Rosie, how do you begin to prepare for a world tournament like this? I know that in the past you've always tried to kind of take a step back from some distractions, some social media. Does your preparation for a world tournament like this differ a lot from your kind of daily preparation for club?
I think when tournaments like get close, I think it's like kind of a reminder for me and for all of us to stay really present. I think going into a tournament, it's like you can never get too ahead of yourself. So I think for me, it's like, what am I doing every single day to get better and to prepare for those moments? So I feel like I just have to try to like be very present every day and focused on that process and that journey going into the tournament, which I guess is what I try to do even outside of a tournament. So I guess maybe it's like not too different, but I think it's just a really good reminder.
Yeah, do you think there's any like tangible things that you do or change that help you stay focused and present?
I think like going through like, I'm very big on like kind of like the mental routine. So I think like meditating and like journaling really helps me stay.
I have a hilarious story. I'm so sorry to interrupt. One time Rose and I were roommates, and I was watching Breaking Bad out loud on my iPad, and it was like the most intense, violent scene in the whole show. And Rose was trying to meditate, and like 5 minutes into her meditation, she goes, "Hey Sam, like, do you think you could put headphones in?"
I don't remember that.
Okay, sorry, I had to interject that story, even though you don't remember. I'll never forget. I was so embarrassed. So you try to meditate, like some mental routines.
Yeah.
I guess I took the wind out of your sails with my story. Crystal, you previously worked with Emma during your time with Chelsea in 2017 and 2018. What has it been like to reunite with her? What have you experienced that's been similar or different from your time with her in North London?
Emma is the same, you know? I feel like oh my gosh, what's behind me? Okay, I was like, there we are. No, Emma's the same, and honestly, I was so excited when she was announced manager for this team because I know just working under her, like how incredible she is, and that's just the investment that she has in each individual player. I think is so important. I mean, people see us as players and they're like, yeah, our job is to like win games, but I'm like, having her be able to invest and get the best out of us is something that is so special, just as a coach playing for her. And I think you already see it firsthand of how she's able to tap into each individual and be able to put an individual program together that's going to benefit the individual, but as the collective. And I think, there's a lot of, same things, but I think she's grown so much since I've last coached under her. 2017 seems like a whole lifetime ago, but she's won so much. She's always been that competitive person who wants to win, but she wants to do it the right way. And the right way, I do think, is just being so invested in the holistic person.
Yeah, I just sitting here listening to her, like I was so excited and fired up. She's so charismatic and so energetic. Is that how you all feel when she is addressing the team?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is really cool, you guys. Lindsey, the U.S. last won a gold medal in 2012, beating Japan in the final. Obviously, flying home with gold medals around your neck is the goal, but there are so many opportunities to grow between now and August 10th, which is the day of the gold medal game. You mentioned your send-off games that are coming up. You have a ton of training sessions between now and then. So what are some other ways you can measure success as a team in the next couple of weeks before the Olympics start?
I think probably the biggest one, I think Emma touched on a little bit, is the relationship building. I think obviously we have a lot of new staff, and like I said before, we have 9 new Olympians, and making sure they are ready and prepared, which we know they are, for what this tournament is, and the cadence and the amount of games in such a little bit of time, but knowing that everyone is needed. So building those relationships on and off the field is probably, for me, one of the most important things. And I think all the work that Emma and the staff is doing, off the field is incredible. I keep saying it, we are learning so much in such a short period of time, but everyone is putting in the work. Everyone is willing to learn and grow and do whatever it takes in this short period of time. So it's really cool.
Rose, at the last Olympics, which were the pandemic-delayed games in 2021, that was the first time that you'd taken part in an Olympics. So there are 9 players who are making their Olympics debut in Paris this year. What will you tell them about what to expect, and what do you wish someone had told you about the experience before you went to Tokyo?
Ooh. It's weird because I feel like Tokyo was such a unique experience. Because it was during COVID, we literally weren't allowed outside. There's no fans. But I think just for any world tournament, I think we always try to, tell the young players, and I feel like it's what people, told us when we were the young players, it's going to get wild. I think there's going to be a lot of outside noise. I think with our team specifically, there's always going to be some headlines and something wild happening from the outside. So I think for us, it's staying in our bubble and not letting anyone penetrate that, and just canceling out the outside noise. I think also in a tournament, really embracing your role. And I think it's something, especially with the Olympics, it can change every game. You can be starting, you could be not starting, you could be subbing in, not playing, and I think just recognizing that everybody's going to have a role. You might not like it at the time or like whatever, but I think that like canceling out the outside noise and then embracing your role every single day, and I think that's going to get the best out of the whole group.
Yeah, I always remember Becky saying there's this tendency on the U.S. women's national team where even if you win but you didn't play perfectly, everybody's a little bit like frustrated that you didn't play perfectly. And Becky at these major world tournaments used to just say, you guys, it doesn't have to be pretty. A win is a win, and we're moving on, and we have to leave this behind. And that always really resonated with me as the right attitude to have in those moments, because the next game is literally 2 days away.
Yes.
Crystal, that actually brings me to you. The games come so hard and fast at the Olympics, and in previous world tournaments, the team has implemented tons of recovery techniques. Like I heard you guys had cryo in New Zealand, which is an incredible resource for this team to have. In the group stage, you play, travel the next day, train, and then play again, which is just really quick for recovery. So how do you try to regroup and recover mentally and physically between games?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the different challenges that the Olympics has as opposed to the World Cups, I feel like, is that short turnaround from game to game. I'm somebody that really enjoys obviously being social and giving a lot to the team and being able to be present in this moment, but I also think it's so important to find those moments to step away and, you know, just be in your own space and be able to decompress and like regroup. I am not the biggest reader on the team. Obviously, this person is right here, but I have enjoyed actually reading and being able to just take a bit of time for myself, you know? I mean, I'm a mom, so it's like I'm always hiding in my house away from my child sometimes. So I feel like I literally enjoy those moments where I could just take a breather, and I think it's important for everybody to like be able to recharge, you know? It's like a crazy environment. You're around so many people at all times, trying to give so much to the team, taking in new information, and I think it's so important to be able to turn your mind off and be able to understand that we're all human beings playing the sport that we love, but it's important to take care of yourself.
For sure. Lindsey, we've mentioned previous leaders on this team, Becky, Pino, Alex. You're captain for another major tournament. That's you now. I want to know a little bit about how you approach your leadership style within this team. Are those players that I just named people you've tried to model your leadership style after? And what have you learned that you're going to implement in this tournament?
Yeah, first off, the few names that you just mentioned, I think they all bring their own leadership style, their own people, and I think that's one thing that I always said is I want to remain Lindsey, but I know there's a lot of growing and learning in that, and I think for me it's a little bit easier because I have players like these two next to me and a lot more on this team that are actually just massive leaders and that help me out and, you know, make my job just a little bit easier. I think for me it's always been, you know, what I can do on the field that will, you know, be a role model, be that player that you can always look to that is working as hard as possible, will do anything possible to win. But I think a lot of my, you know, off the field growing has been the most important, knowing that, you know, my voice is massive. I want to give players on my team a voice, but also be a voice for them whenever that's needed. And just the support that I can give to a lot of the new younger players, but even some of my friends here, you know, I think that's one of the most important things in a leader is like what you can give them and how you can give them voices as well. But, you know, it's incredible because I've had players in the past that I've gotten to look up to and learn so much from.
Rose, I know that sometimes when you're trying to focus, and Crystal just mentioned this a little bit, you focus on reading. When we went to the World Cup in 2019, you packed like 8 books in your suitcase, and you like didn't have room for anything else. And I was kind of like, this is like a bit much. But you've recently switched to a Kindle, which I am so excited about. I don't know if you all saw. She got a Kindle deal. It's a whole thing. It's very exciting, and it's a huge relief to the airport employees who have to transport your bag. So, what are you reading now, or what are you planning to read when you get to France?
Right now I'm reading Throne of Glass. Crystal, actually, did you read it last
It took me
Olympics?
4 years to read because in between I had a child and my reading went
What it's
out.
called again?
Throne of Glass. It's
Oh.
like a series.
Is that like Sarah J. Maas?
Yes.
It's so good. Continue, Rose.
That's what I'm reading right now.
Do you like it?
I am enjoying it, yeah.
Are you gonna like bring all the series to France?
Well, I do have my Kindle, but I like to flip-flop between like when it's like a fantasy book and they have the maps at the front.
Oh, yeah.
So I like having a hard copy so I can look at the map. So
So you go hard copy Kindle and you just...
flip-flop. Yeah.
Very specific reading technique. I really like that.
Thank you.
Okay, this is our last question. Crystal, I heard that your senior prom after party was actually held here at Webster Hall in 2010. So we want to know all the details.
Yeah.
What color dress? What songs do you remember dancing to? Are any of them still bops?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well my dress was poppin'. It was one sleeve, sparkles, black, silver, the whole thing. I don't remember what song was performing. I think there was like a performer here too. Like Webster Hall has all the entertainment all the time. And I think I was dancing right around there. But no, I had the time of my life. Like we literally had a party bus, took us into the city. It was so great. Great time. Great time.
Great time.
Yeah.
Any other memories you can share?
Really, no. It was so long ago. But I don't even the only thing is Webster Hall is like OG, and it was like the only place that you could go to like under 21. It was like so cool. Like when you're that awkward 19 and 20-year-old, you're kind of like, well, I can't go to a bar, so like, what do? Webster Hall, man. It was lit. Okay.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to try to dig up a picture from your senior prom. This has been we don't have one, unfortunately. This has been so incredible. We need to commemorate what has been such an epic afternoon. So I want to get a picture with all of you and all of you. Woo! So we are going to come stand at the front of the stage. We are going to face this way. And when I count to 3, we're all going to say LFG.
All right. I think we can do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Someone else is going to take it. I have to stand right here in this perfect order. Okay, tell me when to say 1, 2, 3. Are you guys ready? Is everyone standing? Thank you so much. Sorry, I forgot that part. Okay, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and we're going to say LFG. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got it, ladies and gentlemen. Can we please hear it for 3 World Cup champions who are going to kick ass at the Olympics in France? Great players, better people, forever teammates. Former teammates. I'll forever call my friends. Thank you guys so much. A massive standing ovation for Lindsey Horan, Crystal Dunn, and Rose Lavelle. I'll see you guys backstage. Thank you so much.